Howdy, folks. This is the PC Cowboy coming at you again. Sometimes you'll notice that I have my glasses on. That's because I'm reading notes. Well, today I'm speaking straight from the heart. Yeah, been hearing a lot lately about this refugee caravan that's coming up from South America. Well, in the first place, when refugees are coming, they sure as heck don't carry the flag of the country that they're being mistreated in. Now, to me, that means these folks ain't refugees. So what are they? Well, let me put it to you this way. If a bunch of us Southern boys was to grab some Confederate flags and start marching on Washington, D.C., you reckon they'd consider us refugees, or would they consider us invading army flying a foreign flag? I'll just let that sink in for a minute, folks, because I think most of you know the answer. We would be considered an invading army. And yet the demon rats seem to think it's perfectly okay for these people that we know nothing about to come up here flying a foreign flag and wanting to come into our country. Well, I tell you what, folks. If Donald Trump wants my vote in 2020, he'll darn sure make sure that invading army is stopped. If it calls for calling in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines, well, of course, he could just let off the Army, Navy, Air Force, turn it over to the Marines, because they're the top branch anyway. That's a shout out to all you Marines. Semper Fi. Let's get out there and show them what America's made of. You see, in the 1700s, a bunch of Americans got together fighting against a government that they opposed because it wasn't treating them right. Well, this group of refugees that came in, or that's coming in, they got a lot of fighting age young men. And if they won't fight for their own country, what the heck makes you people think they're going to fight for ours? If anything, they'll fight against ours, because they think that they've got enough demon rats that'll let them just walk in and take over. Well, folks, that ain't going to happen. Y'all may notice that I wear red. I've been wearing that since before I even gave a flip about politics. Why? Because when I was in high school, there was a group of us that were kind of basically vigilantes. Back then, they had just started saying teachers can't discipline the students or it'll warp their little personalities. Wham! Let me tell you something, folks. When that happened, the students took over the schools. Well, there's a bunch of us rodeo boys got together and said, that ain't gonna fly here. So we formed the armadillos. Why armadillo? Because an armadillo's got a shell. And the armadillo is also one of the symbols of the great state of Texas. And that's where I went to school. If y'all been listening to me long, you already knew that, but that's okay. Now let me tell you something, folks. It's time. Oh, and the bandana, well, that also was part of the armadillo symbol. You'll see very few cowboys with a bandana on their hat. As you can see, I'm one that has one. And that red bandana and the way it's folded identifies me as a member of the armadillos. The gold armadillo pin, it's because I was one of the founding members. Later groups of the dillos went to using pewter armadillo pin, so that the originals were set apart as a separate and distinct honored group. Now, I think maybe it's time we expand I don't know for sure if the armadillos are still functioning there at the high school, but I think it's time that we grow up a little bit and expand the armadillos to accept some of y'all that never had the chance to take a stand. So, here's what I'm going to do. Because I'm one of the originals, Armadillo Unit 8 here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and if y'all want to become armadillos, contact me by private messenger or send me an email. t.k.paris61@gmail.com. Y'all send me an email at that address, tell me you want more information. But getting back to the topic of today, that invading army, well, I'll tell you what, folks. I live currently in North Carolina. I think you can see a trailer back there behind me. That's where my youngest son lives. And his mom and I ain't neither one getting any younger. Of course, and neither are y'all, so don't look down on your noses at me for getting old. There ain't but two options. You either get old or you get dead. Frankly, I've been pronounced dead a couple of times. As you can see, I'm still living. Well, now, those of you who have got the ability to travel and are still young enough to put up a good fight, you can see that headrest behind me. That's the headrest on a Jazzy Elite 400 wheelchair. That's my primary means of transport nowadays. But anyway, I can still shoot, I can still crack a bullwhip, and if I could, I'd be on the border right now. But since I can't, I'm going to invite the rest of y'all. Get on down to the Texas border, New Mexico border, Arizona border. Stay the heck out of California. As far as I'm concerned, the way California is so liberal, I say we give it back to Mexico. California became a state in 1850. And at that time, California was bankrupt. Almost everybody in the state carried a gun. And the primary language was Spanish. Well, here it is, over 150 years later, and not a darn thing has changed. Folks, if we can't change something and make it better than 150 years, maybe we ought to just let it go. That's what we ought to do to California. Let it go. Now, I know there's some good folks out there. They need to move east. Head on back to the United States of America instead of the Soviet Socialist Republic of California. That's California with a K. And folks, I've had my say. I want to know y'all's comments. Feel free to leave comments below. And until next time, this is the PC Cowboy saying, may your horse never stumble. May your cinch never break. May your belly never grumble. And may your heart never ache. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you next time. Hope I can get it to shut off here. Bye. Boy, that one's going to require some editing at the end.